Well, anyway, let's get into it. Ron DeSantis is going crazy on the culture war narrative. This is all he has. He's desperately grabbing onto it. Let's take a look. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis went on Fox News and announced an inquiry into Bud Light's parent company over a partnership with trans influencer. Yet another circumstance where you're just going so overboard that there is 0% chance that the average American is going to look to that and go, thank God. I'm sorry. This is one of the most insane things I've ever heard in my entire life. And for that reason, it is the most pathetically American. Here it is. The state of Florida is going to launch an inquiry into a single 45-second sponsored Instagram video for a beer company. Really? This is serious government work? Here is Ron DeSantis announcing his serious government work, okay?
We do have these shares. We believe that when you take your eye off the ball like that, you're not following your fiduciary duty to do the best you can for your shareholders. So we're going to be launching an inquiry about Bud Light and InBev.
Like, the legal precedent for this is so psychotic too. Like, what? Any company that does something that ends up hurting their shareholder value, the state of Florida can just sue? Like, what are you, insane? Like, remember, these are not big government. These are people who hate big government, okay? These are people who actively hate and despise government interference in private corporations. I'm sorry, if you've spent a century of your commentary on getting government out of your private businesses, you can't turn around and push for this narrative because you just assume people hate trans people that much. Why is the collective Democratic Party and all of the people that are leftist or whatever, or people who are ostensibly on the left, why are they not destroying this? This is what I don't understand. Because, like, the notion, it's not even just a hypocrisy. It's obviously completely psychotic. And I think that it's personally an idiotic thing to do. It's not going to yield positive results for Ron DeSantis. I don't think that. Because no one cares this much. There's a very real falling out of favor that happens to people who are maybe too in front of your eyes. There's a very real moment where, like, something goes from, a hipster fancy to mainstream success, a brand, a celebrity. If they're too, you get oversaturated. Exactly. Oversaturation is the name. That also happens for this kind of situation as well. It can happen to something that you have a positive experience with, and it can happen to someone who's like campaigning on a negative, in a negative way as well. The reality is, even if there is a lot of anti-trans hate out there, and you can use some of that to gain momentum against a particular company, after a certain point, people are going to start going, all right, dog, like, find a new bit. You know what I mean? What are you doing? Like, you're going too, you're out of control. Like, what is this? This is the only thing you're going to talk about? Like, who gives a shit? Ron DeSantis has gone over that a long time ago. His obsession with culture war phenomena and culture war battles that he's constantly trying to fight have already bit him in the ass with people with institutional control in the Republican Party. He's been so actively fighting against Disney, for example, that even Rick Scott has lightly and gently tried criticizing him over it. You know what I mean? Like, the whole, I am running against wokeism. Like, after a certain point, you're just like, dude, come on. Like, give us something else. Like, what the f*** are you doing? The idea that you're still trying to sue Bud Light for working with one trans person because they gave her one can. The idea that, like, this is going to be prescient, this is going to be good legislation, this is going to put you in the news in a positive way by your audience, I don't think so.
And it could be something that leads to a derivative lawsuit filed on behalf of the shareholders of the Florida pension fund, because at the end of the day, there's got to be penalties for when you put business aside to focus on your social agenda at the expense of hardworking people.
Are you looking at Disney too? I don't know if you saw the show last night, Snow White.
Jesse Waters just egging him on. I love this, dude. Yeah, no, set this up. Yeah, stop with our pensions. I like that. Yeah, criticize. Yeah. Go after Bud Light. Okay, I'm on board. seems like a great idea for ruining their shareholder value by getting one canned or whatever. You're opening up the door to so much. The average American voter is not going to be like, oh, thank God Ron DeSantis is like trying to sue a private corporation for making a business decision. He also gets enemies in this regard. Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, is a massive sponsor of the Republican Party. Now, all of a sudden, you've made yet another massive corporate enemy. Disney's already up there. Disney is an infinitely more popular brand than Ron DeSantis is a politician. The move is ridiculous. It's also too late. It's just silly. It's silly. It's late to the game. It just feels like he's hanging on to this one thing. This is a man with very little political instinct. I cannot comprehend how someone like Donald Trump, who was a television guy, has infinitely better political instincts than someone like Ron DeSantis, who is a machine politician.
In the 7 dwarves, Disney's firing 6 of the dwarves. They think being a dwarf isn't inclusive enough, Governor.
God, we are such an unserious country. Ah, that's a good one. I like that. Here's what actually happened to the Florida pensions. Florida pensions funds loses $200 million in Russia investments, state rep says. How about you focus on that, bitch? Anyway, Republicans boycott Bud Light, go woke, go broke. Also, Republicans, AB stock value dropped and I lost money. Investigate this right now.